Today we're going to be talking about what is important for your ADHD health, what you need to be doing on a regular basis. Let's talk about that right after this intro. How are you doing, my optimal minds? How are things going? So what I want to talk about is specifically what you need to be doing for your ADHD health. This can be confused so much because the main consensus when it comes to ADHD health is either your medications, changing your medications, going to see your doctor maybe once or 3 times out of the year, and that's it. Well, there's a lot more too when it comes to actually your ADHD health. And as far as when it's reaching more optimal levels of health, that's why this channel is called Optimal Mind Performance, is so that you can reach peak performance in your mind, especially living with ADHD. I'm Dr. LeGrand, and I grew up with ADHD and dyslexia. I have dyslexia and ADHD, and I want to help you guys. And before we get started, I have a downloadable guide in the description below as far as what labs you need to be running, what nutrients and supplements, and also other foods to implement, as well as foods to avoid if you have ADHD. So it's a downloadable health ADHD guide that you can download in the description below, one for adults who have ADHD as well as parents who have kids with ADHD. So let's first talk about the very first important thing when it comes to your optimal health of what you need to be doing. The very first thing what you need to be doing is looking for contributing factors that could be actually contributing to your ADHD. What do I mean by this? Well, as a doctor, when I see a patient, I don't try to look at just their diagnosis, which a lot of doctors will do that by looking at just their diagnosis and try to treat them that way. But by looking at you as an individual, there could be other contributing factors. And such as contributing factors, what that can mean is it could be related to other things in your body, your other organ systems, not just your brain, that could be contributing, having that brain fog, having that inattentiveness, having the impulsivity, having the hyperactivity, having all these things that make it where your executive functioning is not working to its most peak ideal state that you want to see it at. That's why you need to look at other contributing factors. So this needs to be run by running other blood work, other blood tests, and looking for a doctor that will look at you as more as a whole versus just looking at just your ADHD as a diagnosis. That's why it's so crucial for your ADHD health, because there's so much things that could be contributing to that. The second thing is you need to be replenishing your brain. What do I mean by this? Well, if you're on any ADHD medications, chances are you could be very neurotransmitter deficient. What do I mean by that? Well, there's been definitely research studies where that ADHD medications can deplete you of a lot of vital nutrients that helps with producing neurotransmitters. And so what you need to be doing is making sure that you are eating a very high diet in nutrient-dense foods that have a lot of neurotransmitter building factors, such as B vitamins, 5-HTP, L-tyrosine, other things such as also a lot of different amino acids that contribute to building neurotransmitters, vitamin C. All these things are very important with building neurotransmitters, and we get depleted a lot if you are taking ADHD medications. But especially people with ADHD who already suffer from not producing enough neurotransmitters need to be doing this on a regular basis. So you really need to clean up your diet. You need to be eating really nutrient-dense foods, whole foods, eating more on the outskirts of the aisles and not the in parts of the aisles that are more packaged. Don't be eating that kind of stuff as much, eating more things that are more whole foods. The third thing that I would recommend is you need to be always learning. Us people with ADHD, we struggle a lot with things. We don't pick things up as quickly. And this has to do with a lot of the executive functioning issues and learning disabilities that come along with ADHD. But we need to always be learning. And by doing this and learning new strategies can really help us become successful with our ADHD. You know, something that I've always had to do and I still do on a continuous basis. I'm always looking for new strategies and techniques to be able to be successful with living with ADHD. Something we always have to do and we always have to keep on working at. But if we stop trying to learn and just come up with excuses like, oh, I have ADHD, so therefore I can't be successful. That's a wrong way of thinking. You really need to consistently always be learning and learning new strategies, but more importantly, implementing those strategies. Don't just read a book and then call it good. You need to implement it. Otherwise, reading that book was no good. Or listening to a video or watching this video. Implement what I'm telling you. Don't just watch it and just say, hey, that was good. Actually implement the stuff that I'm teaching you or other people are teaching you on things that you watch or listen to or read. That's what's going to get you as far as being successful with ADHD is implementation, not just learning it, because learning it actually requires implementation. Okay. So those are 3 things that I do highly recommend when it comes to really working on your ADHD health that you should be consistently working on. And if you need, further guidance as far as what labs to run, what nutrients to implement, as far as also foods to implement and also avoid, I have a free downloadable ADHD guide in the description below that you can download for both adults as well as with parents who have kids with ADHD. Until next time, this is Dr. Grant signing out. Remember, you have an optimal mind. Thanks. Bye.